worked.
I was like, hmm.
I'm like, I suck at technology, but I'm gonna try it.
I know everybody for these interviews is like, okay, so what's gonna happen? I'm gonna do what? And I'm like, just it's fine. We'll just do it. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Had a really amazing weekend and yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Well, I'm excited to hear your story. I don't think I really have ever heard it. Um,
Mm,
no, I mean
yeah.
I've seen you around for several years, but I don't know that much about you. And in fact, I think I asked you this a while ago, but what are your pronouns?
She, that, her. Yeah, yes. Yes. In this moment, in this time, that is what I identify as. It hasn't always been that way, and it's who I wish to embody at this time, even though this
What?
body is definitely female.
Like, I know that for sure. Well, tell me, where shall we start?
Oh, we shall start at the beginning. I was born on a day. No.
Wait, hold on. When were you born, actually?
I was born in January of 85.
Are you a Capricorn?
No, I'm at the end, so I'm an Aquarius.
Okay, that's right. Duh. Okay. 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 And what's your rising and your moon?
My rising is Sagittarius and my moon is Aries. So I'm a
Wow.
lot of fire that's fed by the sun. So it.
All right then. Okay. I'm just getting a little background on you as I listen to your story.
But yes, that is me. Yes. I mean, obviously there's a lot more to my chart, but those are the three topsies.
They're your big three.
Yes, yes,
Lots of
exactly.
fire and expansive energy and lots of new forward thinking.
Yes, yes. How can I do this? And then how can I burn it down?
Okay.
Well, I guess that's more of a previous mindset, not really a current mindset, but yeah.
Right. We're here now. We don't have to burn anything down. If you
No,
don't
no,
want to.
no. I mean, I made an incredibly magical fire this last weekend, but that's just
You
fire
are
isn't.
for fire. You know what? I have a jumping off point for you because tell us about your accident.
Ah, the accident. Yes, I had a car accident 7 years, well, 7.5 years ago now. I was in a very bad mental space. I had broken up with my ex-fiance in September, and then in January, she had asked me to escort her to be institutionalized for mental health. So I was doing that, and during that time, I was also a extremely heavy drug user. So I was not exactly in the best frame of mind to be doing anything, anyhow. But anyhow, so we went on this lovely car adventure to take her there. And of course, we started talking because we're in a car. And some of the things I said to her, she did not want to hear, which then turned into a huge fight, an argument. She got out of my car. And in that moment, I was so just, why the fuck am I existing in this world? And sped off and made a right turn into a telephone pole and a tensioner wire. Um, and in doing that, I exited the vehicle out of the driver's side window. I did not go through. I went this way, went up in the air, ended up landing on the ground, and my car stopped like right before me, pretty much. Like it was like the bumper was right there. Um, it, Luckily, I was 7 minutes away from the Hershey Med Center. They came, picked me up. I mean, I don't remember any of this. This is all a lot of things that others have told me about what happened during that time. Um, and so basically I was unconscious and was that I remained in a coma for about 5 days. And then for the following, like probably 3 weeks, I don't remember anything. Like I apparently I was awake. I apparently was in a lot of pain because I had the traumatic brain injury, which basically meant that my head did not crack open, but my brain shifted forward and shifted back and scrambled it kind of. Um, so I had that to deal with. And then I also had broken two vertebrae. My pelvis was fractured in half. Collarbone was fractured. My left knee, all of the ligaments were torn in the knee. So I wasn't able to walk on that for about 6 months or so. But yeah, that was what happened in the accident, and it's been a incredibly interesting journey since then. As far as when one has a traumatic brain injury, you have it tends to happen that you kind of lose all cognitive functions like reasoning, thinking. My damage was on the left side, which is the more logic, thought center. Your right side is more of the feelings, the sensations and stuff like that. But the left side is more of like thinking like in a cohesive manner. So, but luckily as humans, we have the incredible ability of the neuroplasticity that is in our brains to be able to rewire and change our way of thinking,
Mm.
what pathways we take as far as how we think. We just have to change the neural pathways that you use essentially. And since mine, a lot of them were damaged, I had to definitely start thinking everything through the right side, which is very, for me, it's much more artistic, much more optimistic, much more like, yay, let's do this, and not think about how we're going to do this. We have no idea how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. Like, so yeah, that's been a vibration I've been uh, nurturing and caring for within myself for years now. I mean, it started probably about a year after my car accident. I constantly was like semi-depressed, and then the people that I was around were like very Debbie Downers, for lack of a better term. And like, so that was like bringing me down, and it was a noticing. I noticed that, and I was like, and then there were certain people that I would hang out with, and I'm like, I feel good about life and things right now. So I'm like, okay, I gotta make a change. So I cut out a lot of people in my life, like a lot of people, like a lot of what were my friends, and they were also my druggy friends too, because of that having that addiction for like 5 years. Those were my friends, we'll call them. Um, but I cut all of those people out because it wasn't who I was anymore, and it's not who I wanted to be. I think that was the key. It wasn't who I was, and it's not who I wanted to be, because at that point of having like the brain injury and it giving me a completely clean slate, I got the chance to rebuild the way I thought, how I thought, where, what what emotions, because like for probably about like 6 8 months, like emotions were confusing as fuck. I would feel something and I'm like, what is this? I don't know. Because like think about like a toddler's emotions, like what do they do when they feel the things? They get angry and frustrated because they're like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to be somebody pay attention to me and figure this out because I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
and that was me for like several years, and still some days I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this thing and I don't know what it is, and who can I speak with that might have a perspective that's gonna, oh, that's what I'm feeling. Okay, all right.
Wow.
I'll take a sip of coffee.
Yeah, take a sip of coffee because I'm listening to you and I'm just like, wow, everything you're describing about how you basically had to retrain your brain. And as crazy as it sounds, I mean, you're basically saying this anyway, it's not crazy, but it's like you had an opportunity to learn a whole new way of interfacing and interacting with the world
Mm-hmm.
that like you were just kind of literally shoved into. Like,
Yeah, I fully believe that that moment in time, like my higher self, we had already made that agreement. That was already a plan. I was not, I mean, I was right in the middle of my Saturn return as
oh,
well. So it was that was my higher self was like, we have things to do and you be fucking some shit up. Sorry, cursing. So we're gonna what I like to refer to like transformative moments in your life. I call them milestones, like milestone moments that you were a person here, this milestone, and that milestone may not be pretty. It might not be painted with, some prettiness on it. It might be ugly, it might smell it, but that milestone hits you, and then after that, you're different. Your vibration that has impacted, and now you're different after that. And I've had several milestone moments in my existence, and each of one of them I can now sit here and say I am thankful for,
mm,
because they have not been pretty and painted with rocks like pretty colors. They have been not so pretty, and but I'm thankful for those moments because they helped me to become the person I am today. And I think I'm pretty awesome.
yeah. Yeah. And like listen to everything that you have gained from the like the insight of this. And because everything you're saying is like such a literal interpretation of what we talk about all the time, right?
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
okay, the energy of the people around you matters, that affects you. You got to experience that, like maybe amped up 1,000 times, right?
Hmm.
You were like, oh wow, like this is serious. I can't be around this energy anymore if I don't want to feel this way.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you moved yourself out of there. It's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, it's almost like my higher self is constantly in a whisper in my ear of, we have things to do. You remember what we planned? You remember the plan? Remember, we don't have to, it's more than not the plan, it's the goal. It's not, we have a goal, and if we want to do that in this lifetime, you gotta keep going. It's gonna be uncomfortable for a minute, but you got this.
Hold on, big shift.
It's like we're jumping, clench your butthole, we're jumping. Like,
Gross, Rachel.
you know.
Oh my god. Well, I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm really appreciative of you sharing that with us because that I've heard you speak about it before, but I think like hearing all of the details just
Mhm.
it's amazing. It's an amazing story. And as we share our stories, like it just opens up and unlocks so much in all of us just to kind of hear and feel that connection and understand where we're coming from. It's amazing.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this, like left turn. Um, when you reached out to me when I was like, hey, do you want to come tell your coming out story? Um, what was it that made you feel like you wanted to do that?
Mm, I don't know. Like, I have identified as a lesbian for majority of my adult life, but that moment of doing that was probably one of the most terrifying experiences. Like, I was so terrified that people were going to hate me, that people were going to judge me. I was raised Christian, so I knew that at least some of my family members were not going to be supportive at all, and or, like that at all, kind of a thing. And I was like, and that it was a milestone moment in my life for sure. And I believe we each have medicine for each other, and our medicine is our story, it's our experiences, it's our journey. It's this is this is my journey. I will share it and explain it to you. It's not your journey. It's not your story. This is mine, but I'm going to share it with you so that you can have, I don't know, a glimmer of, oh, like one of those aha moments. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about it?
Sure. Let's see. The first time I felt an attraction to a female was when I was about 13, and that was to my best friend, and that nothing ever happened because, again, being a Christian and living with so much shame, and there's something wrong with me, and I'm going to hell, and Jesus gonna burn my ass. Like, like these were things that were drilled into me, like basically that homosexuality was a sin, and that, all of these things. So like I shoved that down. I shoved down basically all like sexual thoughts. Like during my teenage years, I didn't really care. Like it was like, you know, I never, I didn't even kiss a boy. I kissed a boy for the first time when I was 20, and it was disgusting and kind of wet. It was like a wet thing. It was like it was like, what was that? I don't like that. Um, so for, so like, I think it was for my 22nd birthday. My best friend had turned 18 the November before. And she was like, okay, so for your birthday, and because I'm old enough, we're going to go to a strip club. And I was like, okay, like you want to go to a strip club? We'll go to a strip club. At this point, I was still not out at all, like still completely in the closet of, and I was like, okay, yeah, we can go to a strip club. She wanted to do it. She was 18, excited. So we went to the strip club. She bought me a lap dance, and I was feeling all kinds of things that were just like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is sin, this is what am I feeling, and this is not. So then after the strip club, we went back to the apartment, and we were getting really drunk. Like we were just completely toasted out of our minds. And I said to her boyfriend at the time, I was like, you're lucky because I'm pointing at my best friend. I'm like, she's fucking sexy as hell. And she's like, Rachel, is there anything you want to say? And I was like, I think I like girls. Like I think I like really like them like in a like way. And she was like, I know. It was just like she's just like she looks at she's like, I know. I was like I was like, and there was no judgment, no like, ew, that's gross, or anything that my mind had been telling me what was going to happen. None of that happened. She was just, I know. And like that moment was just completely like, oh, this secret I have been keeping for, because I mean I was 22. Like this had been my life, until that moment of hiding that fact and being, and so then after that night, I came out to my siblings, which they were all perfectly fine with it. Me and my siblings are very tight. We have a very close relationship. My brother is actually also a gay man, and he had come out a year prior to that. And when he had come out, our mother was not accepting of that. So I already knew that was going to be probably a thing. Um, and she was definitely not supportive, not accepting. She has over these several years since then. She's gotten much better. She still feels as though she is still a Christian, so she still, believes her beliefs, and that is fine. I was like, you can believe what you believe. I'm gonna believe what I'm gonna believe. I'm not sinning. Like, because I love a woman and she is incredibly amazing, that's not a sin. Like, it's fine, and yeah, my mom has definitely gotten much better with, the judgment. I mean, you can still feel the energy of the judgment sometimes, but my mom is who she is. Like, it's not mine. But yeah, it was good. It was definitely it was a lot less than I thought it was going to be. And then after that, like through my 20s, like definitely I was with some very unhealthy girlfriends, and engaged to a very toxic person, and those were all lessons. And do I regret any of those partnerings? No. They taught me something about me, and maybe it taught them something about them, but that's their journey, not mine.
Yeah. I always find it so interesting when people say, like, you waited so long to say it, and you
Hmm.
just had all this pent up, like, and the people closest to you are like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
duh.
It's like, couldn't you have said something?
Right?
Like,
Didn't you want to say one thing to me? We had to keep a secret.
exactly. But I guess it's like everything else. It's like, is it real until we believe it? Like, until we can speak it, is it real? Like, so if they had told me, I think you're a lesbian, would I have believed it? Would I have pushed that away even further? Like, and we'll never know because it's not what happened.
I'm like, whoa, way to just twist my brain for a second there, because
Yeah.
that's a really interesting point. Like, until we speak something into existence from our own volition that comes
Hmm.
from us, like, could it ever really be true, or
Hmm.
is it somebody else's opinion?
Exactly. Exactly. That's kind of like, people have told me different things about myself, and it's like, okay, if that is the way you see me, that's fine. But until I believe that wholeheartedly, is it real? Is it real, or is it your perception of me? I
Sorry,
know.
you just blew my mind for
I'm an
what.
Aquarius. We're known to do that.
I know, you guys are so interesting. Okay, so okay, I just want to unpack it just one more time, because
Hmm.
basically, because I've gone through this a lot this year with, like, okay, this is your opinion of me.
Hmm.
Do I have to agree with it because you think that? Or am I allowed to just say, that's your opinion, enjoy it, but I'm not going to take it for myself. I'm not going to put it as a label for me that I'm going to use. I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of times we do take on other people's projections of us, because
Hmm.
until you can self-define and validate your own self, it seems like the only way to do it, right? To get
Hmm.
like general consensus of, like, who am I and what do you think
Hmm.
about me? But
Hmm.
I like it much better to self-define.
Yep, exactly. It's like, okay, you see me as this, you see me as this, you see me as this. I don't see any of that. But I do see myself as this, and this. Like, and it's more of like finding the parts of yourself that you can own. I own this. Like, I own the fact that I am an incredibly helpful person, and I own the fact that I basically love everyone, all the people, not in an orgy way or anything, but
In an Aquarius way.
in an Aquarius way. Like, I literally want everyone to be at their highest selves, to vibrate there. I want everyone to just, people have often referred to me as the ultimate cheerleader, and I definitely own that title. Like, I am a cheerleader. No, I don't have one of them outfits. Maybe some
Yet.
pom-poms, but But like I do, like I really want everyone to be their best selves, and I want them to see themselves as their best selves. Like I can speak till I'm blue in the face that I see you as this, but until they believe it, I'm just basically speaking into the wind, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe one day it'll hit, and maybe
Yeah.
one day it won't. Like
Yeah.
it's
It goes both ways. So
mm-hmm,
like the things that people say about us that are might be seen as negative,
mm-hmm,
it's the same with positive things.
mm-hmm. Yep. Oh
Because
yeah.
for whatever reason, it's really easy to believe the negative things about yourself anyway. But people telling you positive things, you're like, I don't know, that seems suspicious.
Exactly. It's like what? Huh? Yeah, I'm not sure.
What's your angle?
Yes, exactly, exactly. And I think we're taught that from a young age to be skeptical of like praise in a way. Like, or we're taught to just soak that up and get a huge ego, and then we're just walking around with this huge ego on our head, and we're like, yeah, I'm amazing. You just amazing.
Yeah, and usually that's an interesting projection as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think too, like when you're saying like, okay, this is what people are saying about me. This is their opinion of me. I think
Mm-hmm.
this is also the weird murky territory where people start flinging around accusations of like narcissism and gaslighting. Because
Yes.
there is a difference between saying you're making me feel something and I think this is who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so if you're like, if someone's coming to you and saying, you've made me feel this way, and you're like, no, I didn't, okay, gaslighting. But if
Mm-hmm.
someone's coming to you and say, I think this is who you are, and you're like, no, I'm not that, that's completely different. You
Mm-hmm.
don't get to define another person's being.
No.
You're allowed to have feelings about actions that have been done
Mm-hmm.
or an interaction, but it's like that weird murky water, you know what I mean?
Yes, it is. Well, I mean, everything in this reality is a water. Ooh, that thing moved. Um, it's about finding the dance and the flow of it, I think, really, and understanding that literally everything is a spectrum, like everything is.
Everything is, and nothing is one thing that
No,
stays one thing. It's always in some sort of motion.
exactly, exactly. It's like, well, take the human or the English language, and the way one word can have so many different meanings. It's like, why?
You know, what's also interesting, just like you said at the beginning, right now you're using like she, her, that feels good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you've made a point to say, like, that's how I feel right now.
Mm-hmm.
And because you don't
Yep.
know how you're going to feel later about that. And it's totally your prerogative to say, like, this is who I am today. And tomorrow I may be somebody else. And we're going to have fun with that too. Have
Mm-hmm.
you heard of the show called Sex Education?
Somebody was talking about that. Yeah.
It's on Netflix with like Gillian Anderson. And
Mm,
I've been
okay.
binging it. I've been binging it. And here is the thing that about this show that I find so amazingly beautiful. It's, you know, set in like a high school. I think that's what secondary school is in England. Like kind of high
Mm-hmm.
school kids. And, you know, yeah, they're having a lot of sex with each other. Like, I'm like, what high school is this? But whatever. But the thing that I find so beautiful about it is that it's such a diverse community of people from race, ethnicity, sexuality, handy capable, like everything is represented there and normalized. So, you know, there's not that like, ooh, this is the minority character, or this is the character in a wheelchair, and we're going to treat this person differently. It's like everybody's just mixed up in the pot and like bopping around having the same teenage weird experiences and trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
out who they are. But it was showing me kind of it feels like that's where we're heading, and that feels exciting to me,
Mm-hmm.
where we're heading
Yes.
into a place where you may not ever have to feel like what you felt, like that incredible fear of
Mm-hmm.
saying like, this is who I think I am.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you see it around you in like the television shows and your friends and your friend's mom and dad, like who knows, like everything's being modeled for you and like is out there. And so it no longer is this huge stigma as we move into this energy,
Mm-hmm.
and people are sharing their stories and just normalizing how unique and different we all are, which makes us see how same we are also. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that.
Yes. 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 Boxes have always been like something I'm very resistant to. It's like, don't put me in your box. Like, don't put me in a box. This is not, like, yes, do I identify as a lesbian? Yes. And that is a box in itself. And I like to I changed the name of the box though. I said it now says Ultimate Goddess Lover. And,
God love you, Rachel.
well, put a sticker on the box too, because stickers are fun. But that's the fun part about being like we're in charge of creating our own realities. If you want to change the color of your box, the sticker on your box, the title on your box, change it. Like you're allowed.
Glitter, throw some glitter.
Exactly. If you like, I don't like glitter is craft herpes. I don't like that. It gets everywhere. I
It
have
does
had
get everywhere.
I have had it in places. I don't wear glitter, and I have had it in places, and I'm like, how? How did this happen?
Glitter once, glitter forever.
Exactly, exactly.
But yeah, you know what I mean, figuratively speaking.
Yes.
Something shiny.
Yes, something shiny, something, because, it's about owning how powerful we are individual. Like when you enter into a state of just being your own sovereign being who's just glowing like a motherfucker, like it's so beautiful to see in so
Mm.
many people. And in the last year, especially, I've seen so many people just like fill into their energetic body is just filled and like glowing, and it's like, yes, you doing you, yes.
Yeah, so good to see that.
Hmm.
Let me ask you a question. If you were to give a piece of advice to a young person who has not yet felt comfortable coming out, who's unsure about their sexuality, probably confused about what label it would be and what people are
Hmm.
think and all of those things, what piece of advice would you give that person?
Tell somebody who loves you,
Mm-hmm.
and remember, in telling that, you have created that as your reality.
Tell somebody who loves you,
Hmm.
and in
Hmm.
telling that, you have created your reality.
Hmm. And that's the beginning. Like that's where it starts. You have to start there. I mean, you can keep on thinking about it, and I mean, for myself, looking at the boobies and something, I was like, but I hadn't created it out here. Like it was all in here. It was like, but it was all in here. It wasn't real yet. It wasn't. I was making no action to make that a reality. It was just more of all in here, all in my imagination. But yeah, if you're really feeling it and you just want to, if you're feeling it, own it. Be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I like the boobies. I mean, I do like the boobies. Boobies are nice.
I feel like everybody likes boobs, though.
It's the truth. I mean, we're born, needing the boobies. And then
Yes,
as we get older, we do all continue to need the boobies, I feel.
I'm not arguing. Oh man. Well, listen, I'm so appreciative that you came on here today and shared your story. This was so much fun and so insightful. I'm definitely going to quote you on that one because that
Do
was
it.
really beautiful. I feel like this is exciting to me too because um, there are so many people like since I got on here and shared my story, I've had so many messages from people who are like creepily in the same situation that I've found myself in the past few years. And it's like, I never knew that was a thing that so many people went through. And I feel like similarly, when people hear your story, they're going to find so many things that resonate with them as well. And like you said, like, this is your story, but totally like a little left turn. But when I've been working with people with their North nodes, okay, there's only 12 of them. And I say this all the time because it just blows my fucking mind. There's only 12 North nodes. So every single person on Earth right now has one of those, right? And they're so specific in telling you about your past life incarnations and like what you came here this time to learn, that when you look at that, it means we have so much more in common with each other than we don't, because we have so many shared experiences. And of course, they're all unique, like our fingerprints, but they're also so similar that we can relate to each other in ways we don't even realize once we get through the barriers of silence and guilt and suppression and fear. Once we move that away and just start speaking to each other, we realize we have a lot in common and so much shared experience and such a rich ability to weave together, you know? So
True.
I love that. So thank you again so much for being here. And I will edit this little and put it on the YouTube. So if you want to share it with your friends and everything, you can do that.
All right. Awesome. All right.
Happy
Thank you.
solstice, Rachel.
Yes. Solstice.
Sending you lots of love. Mwah.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow.